Hey fam, thank you for keeping it choice. Thank you for keeping it daily buzz. And of course, I have Louis Victor, and we'll just continue our conversation a little bit later because we have a wonderful guest in-house with us right now. You know, on the 24th of February, Candy Nicholas was here last week, you know, promoting the Dash color run, and the proceeds from Dash goes towards a very worthy cause. And one of the organizations that Dash sponsors is the Child Development and Guidance Center. And I have the director of the Child Development Center, who happens to be one of my friends, y'all. So I just want to welcome Doctor, I apologize. Dr. Kim Sadhu, or Dr. Kim Gardner Sadhu. Welcome to the Daily Buzz.
Thank you.
How are you?
Thank you for having me. I'm very well. Yes, it's nice to be here amongst friends.
Oh,
A little less nerve-wracking.
No. We keep it casual on Daily Buzz, you know. So Kim, for those of us, again, I like to say this, living under a rock, and we don't know who you are and what you do. Just give us a little brief history about your background, you know, and your involvement in the center.
Okay, so I'm a pediatrician, and I'm the director of the Child Development and Guidance Center for the last 10 years, actually, this January. The center's been around for 20 years. A lot of people don't know of it, but it has been providing therapeutic intervention for children with developmental delays. So it's a medical facility, it's an NGO, and we have a variety of specialists, speech and language therapists, occupational therapists, clinical psychologists, physiotherapists, who all help to support children's development. Our goal is to let children meet their highest potential, so the intervention is geared toward that.
Right. Now, how did you initially get involved with the center?
Actually, when I first came back from my studying about 13 years ago, I was a community pediatrician, so I went all around Saint Lucia with the Ministry of Health along with Dr. Jacqueline Bird. And every day I was referring children to the Child Development Center for intervention, children who are not meeting their developmental milestones. So the former director, Dr. Bridget Schuling, had come to the end of her time here in Saint Lucia. She was a German pediatrician who started the center, and this center was going to close. So I essentially took a leap of faith because it was an NGO that really didn't have much sustainability. It was doing great work, but was in significant financial difficulty. So took a leap of faith and went over to the CDGC, and for the last 10 years built it to where I think we are sustainable. We do get partial government support, so partial subvention, which was key to ensuring our sustainability, and then partnerships such as with Dash over the last 5 years, where we know that there are organizations who annually support us, that has allowed us to plan and program, etc., for sustainability. So.
Anything, Lou? No. Okay. So how did the marriage between your center and Dash come about?
About 5 years ago, Dion reached out, one of the managing partners. I think children with delays and disabilities pulls at everyone's heartstrings, and it's always our push for inclusion and getting children involved, and Dion reached out, and we were happy to partner with them for their first Dash a few years ago, and we had children come out. Children were in wheelchairs. They did a shorter course so they could participate as well, and it was wonderful. Getting the exposure and PR out of it as well, and letting people see children with disability should not be forgotten about, but be included. I like to say things like see the ability in disability and let them be involved in experiences that others. It just takes us to tweak or adapt a little bit, and the management of Dash has always been open to that and to allow our children to participate. But there's also many typically developing kids who participate, so it's a good family event and something the center agrees.
Now, the sponsorship that the center receives from Dash, what does that go towards?
Every year we kind of plug a different hole. Essentially, there's many. It depends on how much a sponsorship is, but in the past it's paid for teaching aids for kids who are in preschool and at a special ed school who wouldn't be able to go if they didn't have that support. So it's allowed children to attend school. It's paid for transportation for children to get to and from school. It's done preschool fees and scholarships. It's paid for support towards importing a pediatric therapist. So anything, any hole that needs plugging, essentially the financial support goes to it.
Right. One of your former SJC colleagues is saying hi. I'm Jan.
Oh, hi.
Yeah. So
We have the same birthday.
really?
Yes.
Okay.
She's my twin. My birthday twin.
Hey. Jan, we talking your business.
Yes, right.
Now, you've spoken a lot about disabilities, and I am sure for some people, because some people are still, I hate to use the word ignorant when it comes to disabilities, and they think of physical disabilities, and we don't think of the cognitive, and we don't think of the mind. What do you see when kids come to you is the more common denominator amongst kids with the disabilities?
The general, the thing we see the most is called global developmental delay. So that's a developmental delay in more than one of your domains. So yes, you have cognitive, you have speech and language, you have motor domain, you have your social emotional. So if you have a delay in at least two of those, then you have a global delay. And quite often the disability is not visible, as you said, it's not physical. That's not the majority. But it's quite often the global delay is due to environmental factors. So poor stimulation, poor support at home, not in preschool, not in a structured environment. Our children are sleep deprived, they're not getting enough sleep, they're not doing enough stimulating activities. And I'm not talking teaching and ABC and 1, 2, 3. Another big factor and threat to our children's development is screen time.
Right.
Too early introduction. Children shouldn't be introduced to any screens whatsoever, TV, cell phone, iPad, anything before the age of 2. And we have 1-year-olds and 18-month-olds with their own iPad. And that's how they spend most of the day, just in front of a screen. And it's one-sided. There's no interaction. There's no learning the to and fro of language. Like right now, I'm reading your body language. You understand. You're nodding. None of that TV can teach you any of that. So I would like to say that we're evolving to more of environmental factors and things that we can prevent are being the threats to children's development. So we definitely need to do more education around that, and hopefully in the coming year, it's going to be a push of ours to try and do some preventative work to decrease some of the referrals that we're getting.
Now, your center does... go ahead, Louis. Sorry.
I've let you have your time.
Yeah. Oh my God, wait. But look who's here. Courtney finally joined in for the first time ever. But anyways, we'll talk about that.
No, I was allowing you because I spend most of my Monday morning at Kim's office.
Right.
And I wanted to, there was something, the screen time thing hit me because I had already planned that when I become a mother that we're not getting no tablet or anything. But going back to what we were talking about in terms of the social or lack thereof impact of tourism and the fact that we're seeing it in such a myopic way. Kim had shared some information with me that was really, really startling on Monday. So in terms of like you just said, the not having that environment of someone to be able to stimulate constantly, and some of the majority of the workers come from that sector. The parents.
The shift work is having a significant impact on our children's development, and that's within it's hospitality, it's security, it's all those jobs that have overnight or weird shifts or 12 hours, and parents, particularly mothers, who are typically the primary attachment figure for a child and not around at the important times. You don't have to spend hours and hours with your child, but you have to spend the important times with your child. And it's significantly impacting our children because they have no structure or routine. Sometimes mommy's working a 9 o'clock shift, so I'm by granny till she picks me up at 9, and then I go home, and then the next day the shift's still 6, so I'm at somebody else, or I'm at home, or I wait at the school. It's just, there's no structure, and we know children thrive on structure and routine, so when every day is different or every week is different, it can significantly impact, and we see many children coming in with language delays, motor delays, just because they haven't had the structure, routine, and the time where they can explore and play in an appropriate way.
Right. Now, I have one more question for you before we take it into the Dash angle, because we have a representative from Dash who's there, so we're going to bring him on set as well to speak about his contribution towards your center. But in speaking, I always start by saying I am not a father, but I am an uncle, and you and I we have a niece in common.
We have a niece in
and
common.
Dr. Gardner, I find sometimes from my observation and my listening of people when I'm on the bus or in town, I find that sometimes some parents are not psychologically ready to raise children, and my nieces who I am actively around, their parents are from a certain educational background, so they have the ability to handle these children in terms of discipline, especially number one, and the interaction with conversation. And do you think it's also a factor where some parents just don't know that, they raise the kids the way they were raised, which usually isn't the best.
Yeah, I absolutely think so. I think what creates a child who is flourishing and nourished, etc. Not many people know what that takes, and I think in the past it worked because of the family structure, the unit, how people worked and whatever. So it just maybe by default happened that we had the things in place that really made a child flourish. But as we know, it's changing. The whole family unit and dynamic is changing, and therefore how children are growing and developing is changing. But I do think that every parent can learn. We have parents who are non-literate, and we give them picture support programs and other things, so you can learn. And a lot of the times it's much easier for us to work with the parents who don't have all this like Google doctor degrees and other ideas and third and fifth opinions that they want, and those that are just really there to learn and accept and I trust you, etc. Right. So I think we can work with someone from any background. We even have vision impaired parents, deaf parents. So I think anyone can learn how to help promote their child's development.
Right. So at this point, I want to invite on set. You can just come on over, sir. Just slide on in. It's one big family.
Walk right in.
Yeah, man. Just walk right in. Welcome to the Daily Bus. Good morning.
Hi,
Right.
Alex.
Morning. How are you?
Pleasure to see you.
Yes, you can have a seat. So welcome to the Daily Bus. So you are representing DASH.
Yes.
I just want you to stress to Saint Lucians how important it is that participation in the DASH event, how it contributes towards the Childhood Development Center.
I think if we listen closely enough to what Dr. Gardner had to say, the message should be clear and simple. What we do is not just for the fun of it or not just for the commemoration of independence, but it is most importantly for the children. What we try to do every year, we did last year, we had cupcakes and playtime with them, is to actually spend time with the beneficiaries. Maybe not all of them, but as much as possible, so that we can get a better feel of the impact of what we do. The organization behind it is massive. It's a lot of work. The guys are on the ground right now pulling teeth, trying to make sure that Saturday's pop-up comes out the way it should and that we have the right number of registrations on the books so that we can, at the end of February 24, have something substantial enough to hand over to the CDGC. It's not just about the event, because we see on the day so much happening, so much color, so much life, so much all of this, but when we're done crunching the numbers at the end of it, if we don't have as much, participants as necessary, then that also trickles down to how much we're able to then transfer over to the CDGC after cost and things like that. So the more numbers we have on the road, the better the impact. And I would encourage anybody, if they have the time, to drop by the center like Louise does on Mondays, or to even drop by one of the schools that are not a school or something, and just spend 20 minutes. And if you have not committed to registering for DASH every year after that, or even going directly to the center, then we need to have a one-on-one conversation.
Yes.
But it really is perfect.
So I've never done DASH because I have really bad sinuses, so I have this fear of all of the powder and whatnot.
Oh,
so how do you send me over?
Akim has more asthma or sinus issues than anybody I know, and he stands in the center of it. The powder that we use, because the target audience are teens and tweens, and of course the kids from the center, we needed to find a powder that is conducive to everybody, including babies. So it's a cornstarch type powder, very organic. So when it goes up, it will not affect you in any way. No sinuses will be triggered, nothing at all. If you have any issues, I'll give you my own shirt to cover your face.
Fair enough.
But the color has already been ordered. We have a lot more color this year, and if you thought last year and the 2 years prior were good, then we're going to be happy about 2019.
So we have a comment from one of our online family, Joanna Poyot. Hey girl. She said the Development Center is a wonderful organization. When I felt my son's speech may have been delayed, I felt relief visiting them, and they were very helpful. I appreciate them every day. Thank you.
Oh, that's nice.
Ryan, one of your friends, Courtney Tiso, says we are dashing this year. Actually, this year will be my first participation in Dash. I've always seen the pictures, but I was abroad every time it happened. I so happened to be here. So we had Candy here last week, and I said y'all need to have I want to throw powder. That's how I want to participate.
And I think I recall her telling you it's not an assault type of event.
You were watching. No. It's like it's good therapy. Just
Put on yourself.
Remember 10 years ago, have some powder.
That's right.
Yeah.
But I'm looking forward to to participating in Dash, and also I'm trying to get people from my school to put together a gang, so we can all represent.
That actually works in your benefit. The larger the gang, the better the
experience,
the experience and the cost. So it's there are discounts for groups and stuff like that.
Nice.
So what is the registration cost?
Registration cost is $25 for children 12 and under, and $40 for everyone else. Okay. But if it is you register in groups and things like those, you get like a $5 off each package. So if it's 10 of you, then it's $35 each. If it's 20 of you, it might be less. If it's a corporate group that's maybe doing something for their team as a building exercise, bring out the family, a family day, we have that quite a lot. Then that is reduced further, because the more numbers, of course, the more bibs, the more shirts, the more things that go out. And the bigger the purse for that.
That's right, yeah. And that has vibe, it has the real vibe. Because I had no idea there was music on the road. It's like, a pre-concert carnival.
But considering I'll be missing carnival again, I might as well make that my
Child, yeah. Look your friend just tell you. So somebody's asking, can people do? Oh, Karen, hey, how are you? Long time, Karen. Can people donate? And if they can donate, I guess to the
Directly
center.
yes,
Where?
Yes, so we're located in Clary on Gordon Avenue. We're right next to the Ministry of Education Early Childhood Unit, same street as NRDF. Our telephone number is 450-0240, so you can always call and we can get directions. And we'd love to also meet you. I love to have a personal relationship and with the persons who are donating, or at least figure out why you are donating, so that we can then feed you more information and build a relationship. So it's not just a one time, maybe it could be something in the future, because that's how we are sustainable, through continued relationships towards for the center.
Right. So Dash is on the 24th?
24th of February, we have another pop-up on Saturday. Last Saturday, we were under the clock tower at Baywalk.
So you guys there,
This Saturday, we're going to be across the street at JQ.
Okay.
A little different vibe. Last week, we had DigiCell sponsoring that pop-up. This week, we have our partners at Lumnat with Cricks and their other brands. That will be lots of giveaways and stuff like that. So as you register, there's going to be lots of stuff in the goodie bag from our sponsor. And of course, music and more music.
Yes.
It's a vibe. From 10 o'clock all the way to 4, it's just fun the whole time. And the volunteers, most of them are repeat volunteers from years back, some from high school, some from college, some that are working now when they find the time on the weekend to come out still. They understand the energy that we like behind it, and they have developed their own energy sometimes, and are able to go and pull some really interesting registrations from inside the mall, outside the mall, around the corner, all sorts of stuff. But it's an experience. Even if you're not going to register, at least come by and maybe get some more information on the CDGC or the cause or anything you need, any information you need, even like Louise finding out about the powder. If you have any questions or concerns, just ask us. We're on the ground.
Right. Yeah, so there you have it, guys. Dash is doing wonderful things. It's not just although it's a fun vibe on the road, the money, that you guys pay to register goes towards, a good cause. Dr. Gardner will be very happy to, welcome those funds so she can continue her wonderful work at the center. So Dr. Gardner and I never got your names. Alex, thank you very much for joining us on the set. You guys have an open door, open chair policy. We have that here at Choice. So if there's anything happening closer to to the time. What's that?
Careful with that. Might pop up and say, "Hey, I'm outside."
Yeah, hey, we'd be more than welcome to have a seat with us on the couch. Let's talk about your problems. but closer to the time as well. You guys are always welcome to come back and let's remind Saint Lucians of what the wonderful work you're doing with
We
Dash.
have that holiday on the Friday just before the event, so that might be a
22nd is what day?
It's a
No,
Friday.
it's a Friday. Oh yeah, so it's on the Sunday. Well then Thursday. There's Wednesday. There's Tuesday. There's Monday.
There's not Saturday.
I know.
Friday.
But Saturday, you
Yes.
guys will be out on the streets, I'm sure. you
No,
doing
Saturday is
that
going to be
last
crazy,
push.
but we'll definitely be dropping by again
Yes.
before the event starts.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That'd be great. Yeah. So again, Kim, that was not right.
No.
Yeah. So we just take another break, and when we come back, Louise and I will continue with the conversation. And thank you so much for making Daily Buzz your morning coffee. We'll see you soon.